I built a deep connection, deep rapport with 200 people at once. And I want to share a tip for how you can build this level of deep connection yourself. So the scenario was I told a 5-6 minute story on the stage of the Professional Speakers Australia conference up in Brisbane in 2025. And afterwards, I couldn't believe the connection that had been built. And I based it on what people had come up and said to me afterwards. It was the first time it kind of happened to me like this, and it was just amazing. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to share the story. I have the recording of the talk, or the 5-minute story that I told. So I want you to watch that. So to give context, and then after you watch the story, I'm going to tell you what people came up and said to me to show you the power of the story. And then I'm going to share one tip that you can use to create that deep level of rapport with people, because it's amazing. Because it's like I had 200 new friends. It was fantastic. So here's the story.
Hello folks, I was on a second date with a lovely lady and she said to me, I hope my dogs like you because I like you. Now, I never heard the second half of that sentence because I was like, is she some sort of crazy cat or dog lady? So I had to ask, oh, the dogs don't sleep on the bed, do they? And she said no, and that was the first lie that my now wife has told me. I never had pets. So when I looked at the two dogs, I'm like, I could understand the first one. She adopted it as a puppy. It was cute. The second one, Rupert, she adopted as an 11-year-old, and he had spent his life as a backyard breeding dog. And Rupert was wonky as anything. He couldn't sit properly. He was missing hair. He was on medication. He had a weak bladder. So I couldn't understand why she would adopt him. But one weekend, I left her and the dogs in my apartment, and she rang me. She said, Alan, there's been an accident. There's been a big wee on your side of the bed. I was like, all right, it's okay. Just tell me it was Rupert and not you, all right? Because I think then, Rupert was kind of starting to grow on me. A while later, we did move in together. Yes, did get a new mattress. And Rupert would follow me everywhere. And Claire would say, oh, you're his dog, Daddy. He's your dog now. But I'd never admit that he was mine, right? But I didn't really have to, because just ask me, where did Rupert sleep? Because there's two types of people in this world, those who let their dogs sleep on the bed, and then there's those people who are going to hell. Very quickly, turn to the person beside you. Are you the former, or are you going to hell? Very quickly, folks. And we're back. But I knew Rupert was, I knew he was my dog, right? Because he needed me. Or was it the case that I actually needed Rupert? When I met Claire, Peter Merrifer made me very teary. I'm like, I haven't even got to the bloody teary part yet. Oh, Jesus Christ. When I met Claire, I was 30, she was 34. 6 months into our relationships, I'm sitting in an IVF specialist office being told, medically speaking, you have to do something now due to Claire's fertility issues. But we weren't ready at 6 months to have a child. And we did put some IVF things in the freezer. But then a year later, it was the whole shebang, whatever that is. It cost me 15 grand. I'm like, it's not bloody expensive 6 months into a relationship, right? Stop distracting me. And this is a serious moment, folks. So anyway, a year later, we were ready to try and have a child. And I wouldn't have got there if it wasn't for Rupert. I wouldn't have known I wanted to be a dad so quickly. And because I realized I enjoyed looking after his wonkiness and showing him how to be a dog. And it dawned on me, right? It dawned on me the day I bought him an indoor dog toilet. Not because I bought him the toilet, but I got down on all fours, fucking cocked the leg to show him how to use it. Did he understand? No. He just looked at me like I was the stupid one. Right? But fast forward, and Claire was 5 months pregnant. And Rupert took a turn suddenly, and his lungs gave up. And the vet said we had to do the kind thing. And Claire made me hold Rupert, and he was there heavily panting. And all I could say to him as he looked at me was, you're the best little doggy in the world. And they put him to sleep. And I'd never lost anybody close to me before. And he's not a person. But he is a member of our family. And a few weeks later, I said to Claire, I hope we're having a boy, because it's going to be really weird for a girl to have the middle name Rupert. And did have a boy. His name is Leopold Rupert. Cameron-Sweeney. But Rupert's memory, it does live on. Where's the thing? Did you forget? You forgot? What? His cardboard cutout lives on in the background of my Zoom calls. He's at every PSA board meeting, right? No joke. People often say to me, they say, Alan, what type of a dog is that? And I say, proudly tell them, it's a dead one.
So afterwards, for the rest of the day at the conference, I couldn't believe what people were saying to me. People came up and said to me, my dog sleeps in the bed. My dog sleeps on the bed. I was in one session, and it was more of a deeper session, and the person beside me who I hadn't met before, they said to me, Alan, I actually cried more when my dog died than when my dad died. And what an amazingly vulnerable thing to share with somebody you don't really know. But we had the connection because he'd seen me speak on stage about, how I felt about when my dog passed away. And strangely enough, as I mentioned to people, especially for men, like we spend so much time with our dogs compared to our parents. It makes sense that you would share more tears about your dogs, and I understood the connection that he would have with his dog. But he's not going to share that with me unless he feels he has that connection and that understanding, and he got that from watching me give that talk, telling that story. So how can you build a deeper level of connection with people? There's a bit of a setup. So if Monday morning and you're there with your colleagues, or maybe you're meeting a new client, and you say, how was the weekend? I know it's a banal opener, but it's a setup, right, for the next question. So how was your weekend? And they say, I was out playing golf. And usually then you might follow up, did you win? And they'll say, I did, yeah, or I didn't. And then you move on to whatever, getting down to business. There's another way you could do this. When they say they've played golf on the weekend, you say, what do you enjoy about golf? Now, that signals to the person that you want to hear about their geekiness, right? About how much they love golf. You're signaling that you want to know more. Because when you say, did you win? They're not going to elaborate because they don't want to overshare. They might think you've no interest in golf. There's no signal to say, share what you really care about or why you really care about golf. So when it's, what do you love about golf, or what do you like about golf, what do you enjoy about golf, they can start going into the things of why it means so much to them. Maybe it's the quietness of the course. Maybe it's the challenge of getting their handicap down, getting better. Maybe it's because it's the one time a month they meet up with their high school buddies who they played golf with, since high school. But they might be doing this for 20 years. And then you build this lovely connection because you understand them on a deeper level. And once you're connected, then things can get a little bit vulnerable quicker. You can get to real conversations sooner. Because you don't know what will come out of that conversation from the person when they talk about why they really enjoy golf. Maybe it was something they did with their dad and their dad's no longer around. And it doesn't have to be about golf. It can be about anything. But if you ask, what do you like about it? It takes it from surface level to a connection, and then you can go down into being vulnerable and even get into more playful things when you have that deeper level of rapport with people. So me being vulnerable on stage, sharing about my dog and what he meant to me, and sharing the vulnerability of him passing away, created an immense connection with people. I still can't get over the connection that I built with people because it's never happened on that level before. It was just amazing. So I hope you enjoyed the story about Rupert, and of course I hope you get a lot of value out of the tip I gave you for building that deeper levels of rapport with people by asking them why they enjoy certain things. All right, chat soon.